All right, this is GTA 4. I'm saying that as if you've never seen it before, or at least never played it before, because, well, maybe like me, you hadn't, or haven't. I hadn't played this game until today. No joke. A big reason for that is I remember when this game came out, and it was extremely demanding. The PC port was not very good, and I don't think it really ever got improved very much over time. So yeah, the game was extremely demanding. It was very hard to run well back in the day, even on a high end PC. And I don't think I had a high end PC at that time. I think I had a mid range at best, which realistically that's what I have today. I never really have the highest end, but even on a mid range PC at the time, I could run most games fine. But I don't know, this game just seemed like it was going to be problematic. And again, the PC port really was. This had so many issues. Of course, this was a demanding game just in general, of course, released on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, where it targeted 720p 30 frames per second. I believe the PS3 version ran slightly below 720p and had issues maintaining 30. It would run typically below 30 FPS, I would say most of the time. I think. Whereas the Xbox 360 version, I think, did a much better job targeting 30 frames per second. I say I think because, again, I've never played this game. I'm not an expert on this game. I only know that the PC port had just so many issues. I could almost make a whole video just on the issues that the PC version of this game had. A lot of effects didn't work properly. A lot of the effects worked worse at higher resolutions because, again, the Xbox 360 and the PS3 version was meant to run at 720p, and it seems like some of the effects, like depth of field, on PC, the higher your resolution. So if you're playing at 1080p or 1440p or 4K, the effect of the depth of field would get like less and less noticeable the higher the resolution is. I think similar issues with the frame rate. There's some effects like motion blur that are tied to the frame rate. The higher your frame rate is, the less well those effects work. But I mean, it's not just that. The port just had a lot of issues. It had a lot of performance issues. It had a lot of graphical glitches where Z buffer, they call it Z buffer fighting. Basically, things that are supposed to be in front of each other, kind of fighting with things that are behind it. You had an issue with the gamma where everything was too dark. Stuff in shadows was basically just black. And a lot of other issues, effects like reflections on the cars just not looking right. So why am I playing it today? Well, this is FusionFix. Okay, FusionFix is basically a patch that fixes so many issues with the PC port while improving performance. Okay, so first and foremost, if we go under to graphical settings, you'll see that we're running on Vulkan. So graphics API is Vulkan. This game would have originally been DirectX 9, but this patch ports everything over to Vulkan, and I guess that improves performance. It's also added new volumetric fog, sun shafts. The PC port has something called definition, which I think ties into motion blur and depth of field, but it also put like a blur pass on everything where everything was a little bit blurry. This game doesn't really have anti-aliasing, and that is a little bit noticeable even at 1440p here, so we'll talk about that. But yeah, they've also fixed apparently the trees look better, water looks better. Distant lights are fixed because apparently in this game at night, distant lights wouldn't show properly. And I think some of the lights would be on top of the fog when they should be behind the fog. So again, there's just a lot of issues with the PC port that have been fixed now. So basically everything across the board looks better. The overall image is a little bit sharper. The shadows are better. Again, the gamma has been fixed. Reflections on cars have been fixed. Apparently on the PC port, they were barely noticeable. Again, water looks better. The trees look better. And on top of all of that, it's running better just overall. So, again, I've never played this game before until today. So, again, I'm not an expert on it. But from what I understand, the trees here, for example, again, the trees look a lot better. So yeah, if you've played the PC version, you can probably vouch for that. Again, I don't have any reference for comparison. I can only go off what I've heard, and I've heard that again the trees look a lot better, the water looks a lot better. Again, we have less pop in things popping in and out with the Z buffer issue, and also LOD pop in. Apparently, it didn't fade LOD, like when LODs change, it wouldn't fade in, and now it does. So again, just so much stuff has been fixed. By the way, we do have a 60 FPS frame limiter on, and that's because there are some apparently things in this game, and maybe some of the cutscenes that don't work properly if you don't have like a locked frame rate, and if it's running at a much higher frame rate. Again, I'm not too sure, and again, this FusionFix might have fixed some of those issues, but I think it's still recommended to have the 60 FPS limiter on. So at 1440p here, with everything on very high, with the 60 FPS limiter on, my GPU's at like 25, maybe 30% performance usage. Yeah, so like I was saying, this game apparently has no anti-aliasing. And, I mean, that is slightly noticeable here, even at native 1440p. It's not a deal breaker, but there's certain times where, like, the grate that I just walked over, or, some high contrast fence or something in the background. Sometimes, like, a high contrast detail in the background has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It's not a huge deal for me. Actually, just playing the game for a little bit, I've kind of gotten used to it, and it doesn't bother me too much. But what you can do is basically super sampling. So what some people will do is go into the graphical settings and turn up the resolution. So I'm running on a 1440p monitor. So what some people say to do is to run the game at 5K, which I believe is 5120 by 2880. So I'm going to apply this. Now this isn't going to look right to you, but it does look right to me. So right now the game is rendering at 5K and being downscaled onto my monitor. So this looks normal on my monitor, but what's going to happen is OBS isn't going to downscale it, so you're only going to see like 1/4 of the screen, basically. I think the top left portion of the screen is what you're seeing now. Now this pushes my GPU to the limit. My GPU right now is maxed out like 99%, and we're not maintaining 60 frames per second. So for me, this isn't really an option, but if you have a higher end GPU, it's something that you might want to consider. So I just wanted to show that. But we're going to go back down to 1440p. And there you go. You should be back to normal as far as what you're seeing. Again, for me on my monitor, that looked normal the whole time. But I know that OBS won't downscale that properly the same way that my monitor will. So yeah, that's basically a form of super sampling, and that is a form of anti-aliasing. Actually, let's get into like a big heavy boat. This thing will work. Get into this Cadillac or whatever this thing is supposed to be. Because one thing about this game that's different than the others is the driving simulation, I guess you would call it. The driving physics are a little bit more realistic in this one, a little bit less arcadey. The cars feel a lot weightier, and that's something that apparently a lot of people didn't like when this game came out. But some people do like it. Some people actually prefer it. And I think I'm one of those people. Now, again, I've only been playing this game for a few hours today. But so far, I do actually like the way that the cars handle. Again, they feel like they have a little bit more weight to them. You do have to brake a little bit more in corners. As you can see, the reflections on my car look really good. You can really see the reflections really easily, and apparently, again, that's something that on the PC port, historically, I guess that was not the case. The reflections were barely noticeable. And again, just in general, I mean, it is an older game, but, you know, with the depth of field and the reflections on the cars and stuff, it does look pretty good. The lighting does look pretty good as we get closer to sunset. We can get a good look at the way the sun rays work. And again, with the depth of field, I think, and the way that the volumetric fog works, the distant buildings have a nice look to them. Overall, it's a pretty good looking game, and keep in mind, this isn't like... Okay, so this... Shit. Did not want to hit him. This... Oh, fuck. This patch is only like 160 some odd megabytes. This isn't like a one of those kind of mods where, you know, you're adding ray tracing and, you know, huge 4K texture packs. This is really the stock game, just with all the bugs fixed, basically. So this is really easy to install. Again, it's a 160 some odd megabyte download, and you just copy some files into the root directory, and that's it. It's a super small install, super easy to install, but it does fix so much stuff. But again, it's still, you know, GTA 4. It's not changing the textures or anything like that. It's really just GTA 4, the way it should have looked and the way it should have ran all along. So, yeah, so here's a good look at the water. And again, if you've played the PC port before, or even the Xbox 360 or PS3 version, yeah, I don't know. Apparently this water's been improved. It looks pretty good to me. Again, for an old game, some pretty good looking water, I would say. Again, this is an old game, right? So, and again, we're not overhauling textures or anything too crazy. Again, we're just basically taking the original game and making it look and run as good as it can, I guess. And that's great. And the funny thing is, I've actually owned this game in my Steam library for, like, God knows how many years, and I've never played it until today. So actually hearing about this FusionFix even existing just a few days ago, I found out about it. And I thought, oh, okay, cool. I should buy GTA 4 on Steam now, because, you know, now's the time, right? Well, I open up Steam and it's like, oh, apparently I already own this game. I don't remember buying this game. It's possible it was like a humble bundle, because I do have like GTA 3 and Vice City, so maybe they all came together. I do remember buying GTA 5, I just don't remember ever buying GTA 4 here. Well, I finally found one of those Mustangs I was looking for, and it's gotten dark out, so you can see the headlights on the car, and all the lights on the buildings have come on. And yeah, again, it looks all right. It's, you know, it's still a little. it's still an old game, but like I said, it's an old game looking and running as well as it can, and I think that's great. Again, it's very simple to install. I'll have a link in the description, of course. And again, it's literally just some files that you copy into the root folder of the game, and that's it. Away you go. So, yeah, that's Grand Theft Auto 4 with FusionFix. And like I said, it really transformed the PC port from probably the worst way to play this game to arguably the best way to play this game. So definitely worth checking out. And I guess that's it. I will see you guys later.